Good afternoon. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk. Dee and Jimmy Haslam, the owners of the Cleveland Browns, just within about the last 15 minutes, wrapped up their comments at Browns training camp. It's really the first time we have heard from the pair and been able to ask questions of the Haslams since the draft. And obviously a lot has changed since then on the topic of a Brook Park Dome stadium. State funding has come through. There are two lawsuits saying the Browns should not be allowed to move from downtown. One of those lawsuits is at the state level. The other is in federal court. Those still have to play out. So it was interesting to get time with the Haslams today and get an update on the Brook Park. The first part of what we're going to show you was their opening statements, just about a few minutes long, making blanket statements about the project before taking questions on a football front. And then they took questions on the stadium front, and we'll let you see those questions as well. But for now, here is the opening statements from Dee and Jimmy Haslam.
A lot of progress has been made. I mean, we started out thinking, what can we do for the fans in this community? And what can we do for Northeast Ohio and for Cleveland? And I think the Dome Stadium is a transformational project that will deliver a world-class experience for our fans and also spur economic growth and conversation on what a great place this is to live. So, Jimmy?
Not a lot to add. I think it is exciting when the players are back. And for those of us who are here most of the year, it's just a much different energy level. I think you can tell we're working hard in camp. It's been hot, which I think is good because it'll be hot during the season, and they battled through that well. 2 straight days in pads, so this will be a good test for them today. But off to a good start. Certainly hate that Kenny got a little dinged up, but hopefully he'll be back quickly. And I would echo what Dee said. Really excited about Brook Park. Most appreciative of the state of Ohio and all the work they did. Governor DeWine, Speaker Huffman, President of the Senate McCauley, Senate Finance Chair Jerry Serino all did a tremendous job in helping make that happen, and we're excited. I think sometime late this year we'll start moving some dirt. There'll be significant construction starting in the first quarter, and I think now's the time for this community to really work together to create a tremendous situation here in Brook Park, as well as along the riverfront, a re-envisioned lakefront, and potentially an almost new airport. So lots of exciting things going on here in Cleveland, and we're happy to be part of it.
Very interesting to hear from Jimmy Haslam that they think they'll start moving dirt in Brook Park later this year. Obviously, there will be a tremendous amount of earthwork that has to be done to dig that Dome Stadium down low. That's part of the idea of having it near the airport. It can't be a super high stadium, obviously. So the fact that he is saying dirt moving late this year, officially getting underway with construction season in the beginning of next year, very interesting. We're going to take just a quick break, and in just a moment, we will get to the question and answer portion about the stadium, of which you're going to hear reporters ask the Haslams, how confident are you, even though there are lawsuits, how confident are you that this is actually going to happen? And Jimmy Haslam puts an actual percentage on it, and it's pretty high. So we're going to take that break and be right back. And welcome back. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. We are just going over Dee and Jimmy Haslam's comments from earlier. Literally just about 15 minutes ago, it ended. We're about to get to the question and answer portion of the stadium and questions by reporters, including one very important question of how confident the Haslams feel that the Brook Park situation is going to be the future home of the Cleveland Browns. And when you have an owner like Jimmy Haslam say 99.9%, that's a very telling percentage here. Just about 10 minutes worth of questions with Dee and Jimmy Haslam on the stadium's showdown situation for Brook Park. Take a look.
What can you tell us about the last $600 million you've said you needed for the dome? The county says it won't pay. Where will that money come from? Do you know yet?
Yeah, really good question, Ed. First of all, most appreciative of the state of Ohio, as we said earlier. What we said all along is we hoped there was $600 million available locally. I think through Brook Park and the mechanisms we put in place, that's 300, so that leaves you 300 short. What I would say this big picture, and we've never, I know it frustrates you all, we never want to run the people, and so with the state of Ohio, we never talk publicly about how things might get financed. And by the way, our plan isn't what they used to come up with the $600 million. I don't want to do the same thing with the county. What I would say is now is the time to work together. Maybe it doesn't work out with the county, but now's the time to sit down and see if we can't work together. This is an important project. I don't think many other entities are spending $2 billion plus in this community.
And we are located in the county, so we will be working with the county.
And the mayor of Cleveland has said that he doesn't want his lakefront left without getting anything. Have you reached out to the mayor? And
yeah, I mean, I think we started with the vision of the lakefront a long time ago, and we believe strongly that the lakefront needs to be developed. I feel like we have put a lot of input and energy into what that vision could be. So we have not had further conversations recently, but you know, we care about this community so deeply, and I think the lakefront is a really important part of that.
How confident are you that you'll be able to make the Brook Park project happen at this point?
Like 99.9.
No, we're very confident and very excited about it.
I mean, we can't be more confident. Let me say, these projects are really hard, okay? And the state's a hurdle. You know, there's other hurdles. You got to work with DOT and rapid transit. You got to get your financing. You got to control costs. These are big, complicated projects. This is either the second or largest project in the state of Ohio history. So this is a complicated project. There's stuff going on. It's 3.5 years till the stadium opens, and we will have to work hard every day to get everything to come together.
When do you think groundbreaking will be?
Sometime next year.
Yeah.
So like February next year?
We're hoping sometime
Yeah,
next year.
that's fair.
So you're not at 9.9 on this. To get to that groundbreaking early next year, what in your mind is a timetable to know one way or the other whether the county's going to be part of this, whether this authority is going to be set up in Brook Park?
Let me say this.
What's the timetable to get to that groundbreaking?
Yeah, so we're going to have the groundbreaking regardless, okay? Let me say this, and try to be very respectful of everybody. What we said is we can do the project without the county, okay? I think it's best if the county and HSG work together, okay? And I won't say anything more than that. I just think it's helpful in this community to work with the city, to work with the county, and to work with the other sports teams.
Jimmy and Dee, one of the chief points that the opposition to the Brook Park project kept making was that it would harm downtown Cleveland. Obviously, there's big plans for the riverfront, now the lakefront opening up. Just from your perspective, how confident are you that this region can support all three major developments and for them to be successful?
Yeah, they're all three very different. And we believe in Cleveland. We believe in a growth mindset. We believe in economic development. We believe that this could be one of the greatest communities out there. But you have to have that vision, and you have to have that growth mindset. And we believe that we can take care of our fans and provide economic development by doing the Brook Park project.
You're talking about.
Let me just say one more thing, excuse me. I think of them as 4 different projects, okay? The riverfront project that Bedrock's doing is already underway, right? We got a good start with their practice facility and the clinic facility, okay? That's probably a 15, 20-year project. okay? The lakefront, due to the fact that we're going to be playing there through 28, probably, and you have to get the infrastructure in place, doesn't start until 29 or 30, which is, you know, basically 5 years from now, okay? Our project will start late this fall, early next year, okay? And the airport will start about that same time too. So you'll have going on in Brook Park and the airport, that'll happen simultaneously. We're open in 29, they're supposed to be open in 31, okay? Bedrock is, I don't want to say think it was running marathon, will be ongoing for the next 15 years. The lakefront will start in 5 years. So it's not like all four of them are starting at the same time. Now here again, those are complicated, not easy projects. I would say one of the things is, think about being additive. Like, let's try to add to the pie. That's what growing successful communities do. Let's try to add to the pie. And that's what I think we're all trying to do. And hopefully that'll happen if we will work together.
Yeah, we can write a great story for Cleveland that people from everywhere will look to what Cleveland's doing and how exciting it is with all these projects. So that's the story that really needs to come out.
You're talking about 3.5 years to build a stadium, which isn't that much longer than it took to build the current one, which I know people have described as hastily built. So what's your confidence level that you're going to be able to build a quality product on that timeline?
Really high. Really
Why?
high. Well, I would say this. I
Like
don't
our
know if it
team.
was hastily built or hastily designed, but I think common sense would dictate you would not have 2/3 of your seats in the upper deck and 1/3 in the lower deck. So, and remember, we've been working on this. We started working, help me out, Dee or Peter, when did we start working on
5
stadium
years?
plans?
2017,
Yeah.
And we're seriously working on stadium plans 3 or 4 years ago, so it didn't just all come together, right? So we've been working on it, and we're continually working to refine it.
Jimmy, how much of a concern is the legal, you know, we have these 2 lawsuits hanging over everything. How much of a concern is the legal fight that you're still having to do here?
You know, the state would need to comment on the unclaimed funds.
Well, I don't mean unclaimed funds. I'm talking about like the city.
Okay,
you know,
listen, I'm not an attorney, but I don't think the intention was to keep a team from moving 12 miles to live up to the lease they're in and to contribute $2 to $3 billion to community. I don't think that's what the Modell Law was for. We're cautious that we can work cautiously optimistic we can work things out with the city.
Jimmy, with you guys being so busy with your project here and with the stadium, what do you think your involvement will be with the lakefront when it comes time to do that? Are you guys going to be, what will your role be?
We don't know that because we haven't been involved in the conversations of what they're planning on doing. But, you know, obviously we care about Cleveland and we definitely want to see the lakefront done.
The estimated capacity of the stadium is what, 65?
65, 66 with a room to go to 68 to 70.
That would seem to disqualify that as a Super Bowl site.
I don't know about that. I think what the commissioner said when he was here is, or maybe it was when we were in Columbus, I can't remember, is listen, the stadium is going to be Super Bowl ready. The question is, does the community have enough resources, hotels, etc., to support a Super Bowl? And listen, I think Nashville will get a Super Bowl in the next 4 or 5 years. If you'd asked me 10 years ago, would Nashville get a Super Bowl? I'd said no. So we don't rule out anything.
Would you guys be more willing to get involved in that lakefront project if the county, woke up and said, yeah, I think we should invest this?
We're happy to sit down and talk with anybody, Jeff, that wants to figure out how to work together and move the community forward.
As part of the lakefront, are you willing or contemplating contributing cash either up front or over time to help that happen if you
Great question. I would say what I said. We're willing to sit down with anybody and try to work through. I don't think you can comment on one issue in a vacuum, but we're willing to sit down with the city. And I think we can work with the city really well on a lot of different issues, but you got to sit down and talk first.
But such a cash offer hasn't been made yet.
There were offers made earlier. The talks were put on hold. Hopefully the talks will put up again. It will pick up again shortly, and it'd be inappropriate for me to say anything.
Are you willing to pay to demolish the existing stadium?
I don't want to make that comment in a vacuum. I mean,
We haven't sat down with
yeah,
them,
let's
so
sit down and see what all the needs are, how else we might be able to help, etc. I mean, I don't think you can fault our involvement in the community. Okay.
The talk here is centered on the huge cost, $2.4 billion to build this stadium. Where are you in terms of how we see the bills on Gateway that come up, you know, when it's 20, 30 years old?
Yeah.
Where's that money going to come from?
Yeah, we read your column yesterday. I'll say this, and I know I sound like a broken record. If all three teams will work together on that quote syntax, that can be solved.
You talked about not wanting to put anything over on the people of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio. How much do you envision PSLs being part of the ticketing structure once you get to that point?
You know, good question. The whole pricing of the stadium and marketing of the stadium is something we're working on, and I think we'll have a better feel for that in the next 6 to 12 months.
This might be a better
Last
question for
one
you
here.
to address this briefly. You know, a lot of people, including the county executives, I shouldn't say a lot of people, some people, including the county executive, are saying the dome's going to be a flop. What's your response to that?
We have the really smart people involved in the process, and everybody is very excited about it, and we're getting calls on people wanting to be part of the development around it. So we feel really excited about it. It's kind of a front door to Cleveland when you look at it, when you land at the airport, or when you drive in, you're going to be passing by that development in the Dome Stadium. It's going to be the only one in Ohio. It's really one of the few Dome stadiums on the East Coast. So we're incredibly optimistic and excited about it. So thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. Glad you're here at camp.
Dan DeRose with 19 News. Really some interesting comments from the Haslams. A couple of big takeaways there. Jimmy Haslam saying they are 99.9% confident that this Brook Park project is going to go through. The other thing you sort of took away from there is that while Jimmy says they don't need the county to get involved, they were hoping for $300 million from the county, that they have not sat down with Mayor Justin Bibb, with County Executive Chris Ronayne, to hammer out any negotiations. And it sounds like it has gone cold for quite some time, but they are willing to negotiate. And if Mayor Bibb wants to see the lakefront redeveloped, which is one of his highest priorities, they are willing to sit down. And they were asked, well, have you offered to give up money to tear down the stadium to help build the lakefront? They wouldn't get into it. They said they had offered that earlier before talks ceased, but that they would like to sit back down at the table and talk it out. And you want to solve a lawsuit rather quickly. Money can go a long way to getting the city to dismissing their lawsuit. And if they were to do that, you would be sure that the Haslams would then dismiss their lawsuit at the federal level. Just yet another stepping stone, but this is the first time we're hearing about when dirt will be moved, and the Haslams putting their percent confident on this at 99.9%. Very interesting. We'll have a complete breakdown on this and all of the Browns training camp news when we start 3.5 hours of news and First Alert weather at 3 o'clock on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a good afternoon.